All right, so Rutendo is going to be taking over from here and then moving us on with the program. We only have 1 hour. We've been given 1 hour, so we have to stick to time. Rutendo?
Thank you very much, Sibo. You forgot one thing. Sibo, you forgot your mic. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rutendo Denise Mutamwera, and I'll be your hostess for this afternoon's session. And before we start, I would like to acknowledge the presence of Mrs. Doreen Bogdad Martin, the Secretary General of the International Telecommunication Union, Dr. Cosmas Lakison Zavazava, International Telecommunication Union BDT Director. I would also like to acknowledge Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Honorable Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu. I would also like to acknowledge the presence of the Minister of Innovation and Technology, Postal and Courier Services, Honorable Dr. Jeffen Muswere, all delegates present, all protocol observed. Ladies and gentlemen, before we begin today, I'm going to tell you a very, very short story on why the girls in here are very important. I'm going to share a very short story of Shungu Namutitima, also known as Mosi Uatunya, also known as Victoria Falls. So many, many centuries ago, it is believed that Shungu Namutitima was a meeting place. Like Elephant Hills is made out of a hut, is a meeting place. So leaders from different tribes in Zimbabwe, in Zambia, in Botswana, in Victoria Falls, and Matabeleland will come together to seek counsel. So technology from a traditional Zimbabwean perspective started many, many years ago. So what is the relevance between our girls then and the girls in this room today? Before they would do their ceremonies, they would bring young girls of age and they would pray and honor Shungu Namutitima. And so after they did their ceremonies and celebrations, the following day, what we see and hear as the smoke that thunders, the girls and the families would be washed by the water, Umapopoma, of Victoria Falls. And then the blessings from Shungu Namutitima would be bestowed upon the communities and bestowed upon the families. But the catalyst to these blessings were these young girls. The catalyst to the interconnected and intergenerational communication was from the girls. And as we celebrate and acknowledge today's proceedings and today's festivities, the girls in this room are the catalyst to the blessings of Africa's digital future. I would now like to call upon a girl who is not necessarily from Zimbabwe, but whose story is testament to the blessing and the catalyst that technology is in her life. I would like to call upon Ruth Nibitanga from Burundi. She is an inspirational speaker, participant from the ITU AIF project, and under Take as a Driver of Women's Economic Opportunity, and to share her story.
Thank you. Thank you. Girls and women in ICT, digital skills matter, gender equality matters. Welcome to you, all of you here. Mrs. Doreen Bogdan Martin, Secretary General of ITU, Dr. Cosmas Zavazava, BDT Director of ITU, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, girls in ICT family, I'm delighted to celebrate International Women's Day and join your call for gender inclusive innovation, digital education, and technologies. Being here with you today is a dream coming true. My name is Ruth Nimitanga, a young woman all the way from Burundi, working day by day for an equal world. On behalf of my delegation and on my own behalf, I do sincerely thanks the ITU, EIF, and ECORE program for the long journey that we have shared so far. It has been a long of innovators, and even my employer has promoted me. And yes, I work at LIPA. LIPA and Connect Summit at Kigali and Rwanda that allowed me to have a great network. Let us allow girls and women to thrive fully and safely in the digital economy. I want my young sister right there to grow up in a world where they can dream of being whoever they want to be. Digital skills is not a dream, it is a reality. Therefore, make it affordable and accessible for them. This is my call to the world today. I truly believe that digital has a critical role for empowering girls and women, not only in Burundi, but all over the world. Let's please achieve gender equality and unlock the vast potential of women in innovation. I cannot imagine a better investment that has been done, what ECOS and ITU have been doing for me. It was a light that changed my mind, my career, and my destiny. Thank you.
Thank you and congratulations, Ruth. Like she rightfully said, I think there's a misconception when people talk about careers in ICT. And as we've learned from Ruth's story, you don't have to start that journey. There's so many different ways in which you can contribute to your communities from ICT and through ICT. I would now like to call upon to give his welcoming remarks. That is Dr. Cosmas Lakison Zavazava, ITU BDT Director. A round of applause for Dr. Zavazava.
So thank you. I think it's afternoon now, so good afternoon. I want to congratulate Ruth, not Ruth, and all the Ruths that are out there, because I think we have impacted many girls, and many of them have done very, very well. We thank our partner, EIF, with whom we partnered to implement a very impactful project in favor of girls in Africa. So ladies and gentlemen, excellencies, I would like to begin my speech by saying it is a great pleasure and an immense honor to be here with you today and open the International Celebration of Girls in ICT Day 2023. I don't want to ask them to stand up again. They will not treat me kindly, but it is a real pleasure to see the next generation thriving, and particularly that you are girls. You shall never be left behind again. After 3 years of online celebrations, I'm truly thrilled to be here with you in person in this room. I must extend my thanks to POTRAZ and Smart Africa for their support, and for the stakeholders who have given their support over the years, and there are too many to mention. Girls in ICT has become more of a year-round platform for education, encouragement, and mutual support. This is a wonderful platform, and it must remain that way. Equipping women, and more importantly, young girls, with the digital skills they need is a major imperative for me. I want to tell you, I am ambitious on this mission. I'm firm in my intent. I want to see outcomes that go well beyond even what we are thinking at the moment. Technology is redefining work for us all. It redefines what work we do and where we do it. Today, 90% of jobs require digital literacy. Digital skills mean high quality jobs globally. Think of artificial intelligence and robotics. We need to appreciate the prospective sheer scale of this. The opportunities coming up will in fact be off the scale. Entire economic processes globally will be redefined through digital transformation. So we can't miss this opportunity. But we're gonna have a choice. Using digital, we can push for positive change for everyone, and especially to close the gender divide. But if we leave people behind in this digital wave and digital era, there will be even more inequality and hopelessness than before. This cannot be acceptable on any level. Going forward needs trust, engagement, and collaboration. New opportunities will need new ecosystems, new ways of working, new jobs, and new leaders. And you are the young girls over there, you are the leaders of tomorrow. At this moment, the image in my mind is of breaking wave of digital transformation across the world, and right in the middle of it, opportunities being taken, being held, being grasped, being squeezed, and being owned. Your digital life is just the beginning. You are the digital leaders of tomorrow. The challenge is here. So I ask you now to act in this moment and walk into your future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Zavazava. Now, today is a very important and a very special day for us here in Zimbabwe as we celebrate Global Girls in ICT Day. Particularly of interest and importance to us as a nation is the fact that Transform Africa is being hosted in Zimbabwe for the very first time. And we also have the honor of having our next keynote speaker join us in this historic and momentous occasion. I would now like to call upon the Secretary General of the International Telecommunication Union, Mrs. Maureen Bogada Martin, to give a keynote address. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you. Wow, what a crowd. And I must say, a dancing crowd as well. It's really wonderful to see the energy in this room and the excitement. I also want to recognize our friends and colleagues and girls in Addis that I believe are gathered at UNECA, and they were on the screen briefly moments ago. So hello to the girls in Addis. Today, some 170 or so countries are celebrating this important day, Girls in ICT Day. And of course, with the time zones, the first celebrations began yesterday, our time, in New Zealand, Australia, the Pacific Islands, and they will continue throughout the day with the Americas region just waking up. I want to thank Ruth for being with us and for being brave and sharing her incredible story. Thank you. Thank you, Ruth. Ladies and gentlemen, it is most inspiring to hear how technology has transformed our lives, and of course, the lives of so many in our communities. As Minister Ursula, the Minister of Ghana, mentioned this morning, because of you, because of the young women gathered in this room, our story of the digital world will be very, very different in 10 years. Actually, I hope 2 years. So thank you for that. I wanted to share, as Dr. Zavazava did this morning, I'm a mother. I'm the mother of 2 girls and 2 boys. We have gender balance in the home. I'm also a sister. Cosmos has 3 sisters. I have 3 brothers. I was the only girl, which meant that I got to do a lot. I was able to do a lot of boy things growing up. I was a little bit of a tomboy. I'm a daughter, I am a spouse, and today I stand before you as the head of the ITU, the UN Agency for Digital Technologies. But when I grew up, when I was about your age, even a bit older, I wanted to be a doctor. I was certain I was going to be a doctor. I was passionate about chemistry, passionate about biology, less passionate about physics, and I loved math. My father was a big influence. He was a pediatrician, and like him, I wanted to help people by using the power of science, the power of medicine, and the power of technology. Eventually, as you can see, I didn't become a doctor. I took a different path, but the belief in technology's potential to help people and to build a better world has never left me. I know Minister Lovu and Minister Muswere, that you believe in this too. And I'd really like to take the opportunity to thank you, to thank POTRAZ, and to thank Smart Africa for bringing us all together here today and for supporting Girls in ICT Day and our new network of women ministers. Yes, the world needs more women and girls like you. And when I look out at all of your smiling faces, I think you're smiling, I see perhaps some engineers. I see some scientists, some doctors, some professors, some entrepreneurs, maybe even some designers, lawyers. All of these are fields that are critical to our digital world. Ladies and gentlemen, girls, I see a wonderful, bright future right here in this room, here in Zimbabwe, and across this great continent. Some of the jobs, or should I say perhaps most of the jobs that you will have actually haven't even been invented yet. But what we know for sure is that digital skills, the theme of this year's Girls in ICT Day, digital skills can help you to prepare for what's to come. And it can keep you safe as you explore the exciting world of digital technologies. So on this day, girls, I dare you. I dare you not only to dream, I dare you to do. Learn the digital skills that you need to succeed in today's digital future, and the future is yours. As our young parliamentarian said this morning, anything without us is not for us. So step up, take a seat at the table, believe in yourself, and never give up. As one of our distinguished heads of state mentioned yesterday, digital is the way that the world will go. And that very digital world needs you. Ladies and gentlemen, girls, thank you so much for being here. Thank you, everyone, and happy Girls in ICT Day.
Thank you very much. Now, two things that you can't separate to move our countries, economies, and continent forward are technology and education. Education is an enabler as well as a catalyst to get us to where we need to be and where we should have been. And now to give us her remarks, I would like to call upon the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education in the Republic of Zimbabwe, Honorable Dr. Evelyn Ndlovu. A round of applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, girls. How are you? Thank you. I would like to recognize the presence of Doreen. I've been long, I've been waiting for this day to be with you today here. I would like to also recognize Dr. Cosmas Zavazava to be here with us at the Victoria Falls, Musiwatunya. I would also like to recognize the Deputy Minister. I think I saw him. I didn't see the Minister, the Deputy Minister of ICT and Courier Services, Honorable Puti. He's my Member of Parliament for Bulilima West constituency. I would also like to recognize the director, POTRAZ, and other directors who are here present, the delegations from various countries who are with us today, the girls from African countries. We've seen one of them giving a tremendous speech today. We're proud of you. Please clap hands for her. I am very proud to be with you today as the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education. On this day where we discuss the issue of access to technology by our girls in our schools. The access to technology for our girls who are out of school, that we bring back to school to make sure that they continue their education through non-formal education with the assistance of the private sector and non-governmental organizations and development partners who work with us. Today is a very important day for us as Zimbabwe, as we host at least 1,000 girls in this room from Matabeleland North. We say welcome to you, Matabeleland North girls, hoping that all that is taking place here will change your lives, to make you decide on the course of work, the type of learning at higher and tertiary institutions, that the type of courses that you're going to take are dependent on what we are going to say here today. I would also like to inform this House that the right to education for all has been a long-standing commitment by the government of Zimbabwe, based on the constitutional founding principles, chapter 127(2), which affirms the need to ensure that girls are afforded an equal opportunity with boys in education. The net enrollment, to demonstrate that, the net enrollment ratio for both boys and girls reached parity on 91% at 91% in 2021. That's a great achievement by the government of Zimbabwe in terms of education. Coming back to ICT access, the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, in its competence-based curriculum, included ICTs as a learning area from infant, which is ECDA, ECDB up to grade 2, right up to grade 7, and secondary education. That is a big step that the government took to make sure that we implement our ICT policy, which resides within the Ministry of ICT and Courier Services. It is the aspiration of the Zimbabwean government to leave no one and no place behind, and no child behind, including those that have dropped out of school because of early marriages, early pregnancies. ICTs in our schools at secondary education and primary education are a center for us to bring back girls, to give them skills, but we need support from development partners to make sure that we've got funding, and also we've got access to energy in our rural schools, because part of our country is not electrified. So we've got enough solar power up the skies. What we need is to tap that solar power and bring down for our girls to have access to ICT tools so that we can train them, capacitate them, and see them in our next meeting, showing off like the girl from Burundi, that this Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education, the government of Zimbabwe, ITU, changed my life from a rural girl to someone who has got a skill in ICTs. And I'm learning, I'm having a good life today, a better life today with my children because of that effort that was made at this particular conference. Let's address that and change lives. Ladies and gentlemen, the ministry, in its effort to make sure that the girls and women in rural areas have got access to ICT, managed to introduce Africa Code Week in schools, from early childhood up to secondary education. This program has seen us in 2018 as a ministry train at least 24,295 of our young generation in schools, of which 12,775 were girls and 11,420 were boys. More than 500 teachers were trained in ICT to build capacity for them to use their iPhones. You know, you'll be shocked that in Zimbabwe, quite a number of people have got iPhones. But the literacy to make sure that that iPhone can assist you, you can do business using that iPhone, you can market your product using that iPhone, is very limited. So we need to come up with programs at other platforms like the Ministry of Women Affairs, the Ministry of Youth, to make sure that our children out there can use the iPhones that they have in their hands. We also taught these teachers to make sure that they can teach other teachers. So they build capacity in other teachers who are not yet literate in terms of, because we've got people who were born before computers, like me. So in order for them to upgrade their skills, we need to train them. So capacity building programs are critical for us as a country, for us as a continent, to change lives of our people. To zero in on the Ministry of Primary and Secondary Education's ongoing efforts and the focus to promote girls in ICT is to ensure the following results. One, to see provision of ICTs in schools for girls to use those ICTs. At the moment, we're working with the Ministry of ICT and Courier Services and POTRAZ and other government parastatals within the Ministry of ICT and Courier Services to make sure that we put computers put laboratory computers in our schools, both primary and secondary education. Of course, as I said, the issue of connectivity. When I was sitting down there, I read those, that there is what we call connectivity, then innovate, connect, innovate, and transform. And then I categorize, what do we mean about connect? Probably I leave that to the Minister of ICT to talk about that, to make sure that we know exactly what transpires if we talk about this. What is it that is involved? Because we've got a lot of challenges within that particular area. We also, apart from having access to ICT tools and gadgets, we want to bring back girls who dropped out of school through the ICT gadgets that we have in our schools, through what we call open distance EE-based learning. We call it ODEL. program. We want to ensure that the use of ICT as a teaching and learning support strategy. This will assist us to bring in STEM teaching, because we have a shortage of STEM teachers. We don't have physics, chemistry, and biology teachers that are enough in our schools. A lot of them have migrated to other countries. We have too much teachers in terms of English language and other subjects. But on STEM, we have a shortage. So we have to address the shortage of teachers using ICT. I went to South Africa, was shocked. And in one of our schools here in Norton, when I joined the ministry, a teacher can actually teach a class, 2 classes or 3 classes here in Victoria Falls, using gadgets in one classroom. This is what we want to see in this country. We've got 1 or 2 schools that are doing that, but we want to see more schools, especially government schools, council schools, church schools. We'd want to see them do that so that we can address the issue of teacher shortage. We want tooling of both teachers and pupils with modern gadgets to support, and government is trying by all means with the support from the private sector to do that. We want to build capacity for teachers so that they are literate in terms of startups at the pre-service training programs. So we've introduced a pre-training program in our polytechnic to make sure that when they leave the polytechnic, at least they know how to use the gadget. And then they can teach our children effectively and properly. Building an understanding of the status of the gender digital divide in rural women and girls through access to and use of computers and the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, our women out there are failing to market their products. Our girls are failing to market their products because they cannot use, as I said, the gadgets that they have. Their children buy them gadgets, but they can't use it. Their brothers buy them gadgets, but they can't use it. So we need to build capacity within communities in the rural areas so that we can have access to markets and implement the African Free Trade Area program using the ICT gadgets. To conclude my presentation, I would like to say, as we celebrate the ICT Day today, under the theme Digital Skills for Life, let us renew our commitment to empowering girls through education and ensuring that they have equal opportunity to succeed in the digital age. The 21st century demands that. We can't run away from it. In our celebration, let us also watch out for space in our nations where the boy child might be lagging behind, and plug those for a holistic development of our young people. Let's not forget the boy child. We should be inclusive as mothers and fathers. Let us work together towards a future where every child and every girl has access to ICT tools, resources she needs to create a brighter future for herself and her community, and thus address poverty, which is within us, the whole of Africa. We need to address poverty, and we can only do that if we empower these young girls, if we empower the African child, and make sure that they've got the right skills, they can make decisions at the right time and at the right period of their life. I thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Minister. And it's important to also recognize that there are also men who are celebrating with us today. When I take you back to the story of Shungu and Mutitima, it is said that they were siblings, a brother and a sister, who were instrumental to the affairs of Mosoya Tunga and Victoria Falls. And so it is important that we also empower the boys in our communities. And now to give his remarks, I would like to call upon the Minister of Innovation and Technology, Postal and Courier Services, Honorable Dr. Jenfan Muswere. A round of applause.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My program says there's lunch at 1 o'clock, and as I kept checking on time, I realized that it would be very important for me to be short, because last night I learned that it's dangerous to stand between your speech and food. The ITU Secretary General, who is here with us, Doreen Bogdan Martin, a pleasure to have you in Zimbabwe. The ITU Director for BDT, Dr. Cosmas Zavazava, the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, who is with us here, the previous speaker, other notable ministers from various African countries who are here, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, a good afternoon to you all. Girls, are you there? Can I see girls in this room? Wow. Can you clap hands for the girls? I am very elated to be here, sharing this wonderful moment in an agenda that I fully subscribe to. Let me hasten to say, I was moved by contributions that I got from various speakers in the panel earlier on this morning. And I may take a few of them that motivated me and perhaps share with you as a refresher. Indeed, you cannot push a digital transformation agenda, yet you leave behind 50% of its population. And this we got this morning from the presentations that were made in an earlier session. In my country, 17% of tech jobs are only occupied by women. And that says a lot about the amount of work that still needs to be done. If you don't include women, I want to say it is the fastest way of destroying or stagnating society. I'm happy that speaker after speaker and many resolutions continue to focus on how we can uplift our girls so that they occupy the important space as alluded to by the previous speaker. The Minister of Primary and Secondary Education took us through a lot of programs that are happening in government as a collaborative effort between them and the Ministry of ICT, Postal and Courier Services. And that specifies really that there is a thin line and a strong marriage between these two ministries, because one is meant to provide solutions, possibly gadgets as well, policies, but the other should implement by way of making sure that even at a tender age, girls are able to appreciate STEM subjects so that we bridge that gap of a mere or petty 17%. We have a supreme law of this country that specifies clearly that there be a deliberate approach to support women initiatives. And the Ministry of ICT, Postal and Courier Services is doing a lot in terms of implementing that. We celebrate girls in ICT every year, and I'm happy that this year it is bigger and better, and thanks to ITU and Smart Africa. Speakers this morning emphasized on digital ministers to collaborate with ministers of primary and secondary education, as we name it here in Zimbabwe, but in general, ministries of education. And I can't agree more. We have to do that. I'm also moved by a contribution that came from the panel that spoke about the importance of mentorship. Can we all here be role models? I was beginning to enjoy Doreen's presentation as she talked about herself, that she's a sister with 3 brothers, that she's a spouse, that she had an attraction to medicine, but eventually could not make it. But despite, look at her and get motivated. Girls, you hear me out there? So can each one of us inspire and motivate? One young girl this morning spoke about shortage of gadgets in schools. Very true. But my ministry has done a lot in terms of equipping schools with laboratories of standard. And I'm happy to say from this program, we are going again to be celebrating a version of this celebration at a rural school, where we are going to see what a rural school laboratory looks like. POTRAZ and the ministry have been distributing across the country, but especially to underserved areas, computers and ensuring connectivity for the same purpose for which we are gathered here. Ladies and gentlemen, I also want to share with you, before I sit down, that the government of Zimbabwe is going to sponsor a program shortly where winners of an essay competition on how we can solve problems using ICT that has been run through the POTRAZ, and winners are going to walk away with a laptop each, and we have 10 winners. I would love to share this with the House so that at an appropriate time, we will have the ITU Secretary General, Mrs. Doreen Bogdan-Martin, the Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Dr. Ndlovu, Dr. Zavazava, Director BDT. I don't know if the Secretary General of Smart Africa, Dr. Kone, is here, and others as per guidance that we shall get from the Director of Ceremonies. Otherwise, like I said, I keep referring to my fears. Those of standing between such a time and food. Allow me to take leave.
Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. We are now going to get into a panel discussion as we're focusing on the importance of intergenerational synergies and collaborations. And to facilitate today's panel discussion, I would like to call upon two big girls within the ICT and STEM community. I would like to call upon Tutsirai Jenje. She is the founder of Artworks Digital. She is a legacy brand building expert who helps individuals build technology solutions that help them catch the attention of their ideal clients. A round of applause for Tutsirai. Many students know our next moderator as the STEM lady. Her name is Sikelo Dube, and she is passionately contributing towards practical and actionable solutions in STEM. She is the director of Elevate Trust and the Zimbabwe STEM ambassador, who does a lot of work in the field of STEM education, innovation, and entrepreneurship. A round of applause for Sikelo Dube. Ladies, over to you.
Thank you very much, Madam MC. Likhona in, my girls. Likhona in. Ashauteni girls in ICT. Girls in ICT. Okay, so to benefit those girls who do not understand English very well, we will also put a little bit of Ndebele. This area is a Ndebele speaking area, and I also happen to be Ndebele. So, mankazana songa silaleleni, and we enjoy this session. All the times we ask this question, do you have a role model? And most of the time you say no. So ngilethemba ukuthi today, liyababona omama osisibenu who are doing great, liyabhala phansi, you are writing down all the notes, so that libekwazi abanye abantu who are doing great in the field of ICT. Angithi. Okay, so over to you, Tutsi, to introduce our panel.
Awesome. Thank you so much, C. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are so excited this afternoon to be here, a part of this Girls in ICT Day, which is Digital Skills for Life. This is an incredible moment for us here in Zimbabwe. I am absolutely excited as one of the girls who has really had an opportunity to be within the ICT sector, and it has really transformed my life. As we go forward, we all know that technology plays a role in every single career. And learning technology skills as a young girl at age, it will help you to gain economic independence. And as we continue to go down in this particular route and unpack it, I have incredible panelists that I want to introduce so that they come up here. The first one is a youth representative from Generation Connect, Kaminisa. If we can please give her a hand as she comes up to join us. We also have a young woman professional and leader in the tech at the Ministry of ICT in Ethiopia. I hope I say this well. Tedinamia, please may you come up, Narud. Let's give her a hand as she comes up. We have a representative from the Junior Minister of ICT or a Parliament representative. I don't know if they're already here, if they can come up. We also have from POTRAZ, Legal and Research Officer, Rejoice. Let's give her a hand as she comes up. We have a representative from UNICEF on behalf of Ms. Russell, and he is the UNICEF Executive Director. I don't know if Dr. Oyewale is here with us. If he, oh, wonderful. Please, ladies, let's give him a hand. Wonderful, wonderful. I am so excited to have each and every one of you who are here. See, I'm going to hand over to you so that we get right into the panel discussion.
Okay, thank you so much. We start with you, Kaminisa. It is true that the current careers that are there now might not be there in the future. The future of jobs is changing. Mankazana, imsebenzi ekhona namuhla eminye yabingekho kusasa. Would like Kaminisa to tell us, what is your view on the current education in terms of preparing you for the skills for the future?
From point of view, when it comes to how to be aware of the education or how to get the proper education, we have a lot of resources to develop our skills and knowledge through the YouTube channels or online education platforms and etc. But I think the most crucial point is here to know to determine actually what knowledge we really need to be competitive in our marketplace, to excel our peers and to be competitive. So basically we when we work, I'm sorry, I'm so excited. So it's really the hardest thing that you can be aware of totally, because we are living in the ocean and information. So it makes people really indecisive how to determine and decide anything because having tons of option. Let's say you want to be a front-end developer in the field, but you have to start from learning some kind of programming language to be a master in the field. But the hardest thing is here to know what kind of knowledge you have to know to be competitive, and without knowing the market trends, it's really challenging and energy and time consuming for you. And most of people actually, because of that, them getting demotivated and actually it's prevent them accomplish their mission. So we also know that companies hire us for the knowledge we already have and not really into the giving extra technical trainings for us. At least it's like in my country. So after working more than a year or 2 years for the company or position, we're kind of consuming the skills that we could learn through that. So after time, our jobs on our position turns into more than a challenge, but into routine, which is really dangerous for our future career. So, and I wonder if there is anyone has ever experienced this kind of situation in his or her career. Can you please raise your hand if nobody? Really? Okay, but it happened to me after a year ago. I started to work my company, and I immediately ran to my boss and said, "I love my job, but I feel like I'm not learning quite new thing that you can. Can you please give me a challenging task that I could learn or discover new business models and be more excited about what I'm doing?" So it was easy for me because my boss was in the field over 25 years and he understood what I'm saying once. But before coming that point, it's not always easy to accept that you need a challenge, you need a change in your workplace or in your perspectives. So because being in our comfort zone is the sweetest and the safe place that we could be, and it's like a sugar. When we consume a lot and when exposed to a lot, we are dying fast and earlier. So not to die fast and earlier, the immediate action is to be brave and go out of your comfort zone, not to lose your job after 2 years that this non-stop emerging trends. First you can do is, of course, ask a help from your boss that maybe he can give you a challenging task or change your project, or maybe he can provide you the possible trainings that your company provide you. But if you don't have a job, if you don't have a boss and you're a student and are about to enter the field, the best thing is to do, and I'm always trying to do that to update my skills and my expertise, is here's a tip. So I'm a professionally IT business analyst. And sometimes I feel like I need to increase my knowledge to be a competitor in the field again. As we said, that the crucial point is here to know what the skills we really need to be competitive and excel others. And I'm doing simply this. And I'm running into the Google and texting like, let's say I'm a business analyst, I want to get promoted to the senior business analyst. And I'm just simply typing like senior business analyst vacancies. And maybe you can add the kind of marketplace like a IT, banking, corporate, or something else. And it's a really supported to add your country, because the requirements of the jobs and position are really differs through the countries, and mostly in the developing countries. And they're a bit coming back of the world. So being, let's say, specific is always best. And I'm going generally through 10 or 20 vacancies to just have the common ones and the common one and I don't know, and then making a list give me a start point and the roadmap to just accomplish that task without wasting my time on deciding. So I'm gonna give you another tips about how to just you can determine or increase your knowledge or be competitive in the field. And getting trained is not only way that you can be a competitor in the field. So you can learn a lot through organization, events, and the like-minded people in the tech field. And thanks to ITU, and I'm not saying that's because I'm a youth invite, but I have learned a lot of stuff, and we have to know how to praise people, the hard work of the people they're doing. And I have learned a lot of stuff about digital literacy, gender equality, and policies, regulations, which as a business analyst, a quite different sphere that I could get knowledge. So,
Okay, Kamisa, thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
can
thank
see
you.
you're really excited and
She
lit
really
up.
is. Let's give her a round of applause.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. I know with our time, we're just going to go on to the next question, which is for you, Tedania. And the question is, what resources are available for one to grow in the career of ICT? If we can just say it as quick as we can with our time.
I understand. We are hungry, so we will keep it short. First of all, thank you very much, and I would like to say Happy International Girls in ICT Day. As a girl in ICT, it's a celebration. So, what opportunities are there for women and young girls to advance their careers in the digital industry or in the ICT industry? I think the first one is, it was mentioned earlier by our honorable speakers, that is education. So now in this day and age, in this the fourth industrial revolution age, the training and short-term education is as important as the mainstream long-term education. And it is available, most of them are available online. So many big institutions have their own academies that we can learn from, such as ICT, ITU has their own academy, ITU Academy. Different academies are out there that we can learn from and advance our careers. The other two things I want to mention with education is, the first one is self-learning. So before, we might need to have an instructor or a person that could guide us through the education. But now we can do it on our own with our own time. Self-paced education is popular now. So it's very important to know that we don't need to be in a certain place, or we don't need to be at a certain location to educate ourselves, or to wait for someone to share information with. So self-learning and also the ability of learning from wherever we are, whenever we want, is very critical, and as I see it as an opportunity. When it comes to the work environment, so in general, digital, the main commodity that digital needs is our, it's not our labor, it's not our physical skill. It needs our cognitive capabilities, which makes the playing field much more plain for women, for everybody to compete. So I see that as an opportunity in general. But when it comes to work, the point that I mentioned earlier, working from home, working remotely is a big opportunity. The COVID-19 pandemic has shown us that it is possible for anybody to work their homes and earn a living, a very, I mean, it's usually ICT jobs are a good earning job. So anybody can do that from their home and their location. The other thing is I want to mention is it is when we go digital, it's a global network. We can tap networks, we can tap opportunities throughout the world. So that's a big opportunity for women. And when I want to mention also the opportunity that employers might get by being more inclusive. It was also mentioned earlier on, during the speech, 50%, not 50%, but a big chunk of women talent is not tapped. So for employers, it's not only economically efficient to be inclusive, but also in creativity. If you want more diverse ideas, new perspectives, you have to include everybody, including women. So just to wrap up, I want to say digital has a potential to create a more equitable world. So we have to seize this opportunity to be an inclusive as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Mankazana, local corner, are you there? Well done. So siyabona ukuqhakatheka kwama-skills ukuthi ufanele lifunde liqinise ngoba kuqhakathekile ukuthi likhone ukuthola imisebenzi kusasa, and yonke imisebenzi yakusasa yabe sifanana le airtime. If you don't have airtime, it would be like you don't have ICT skills. Do you understand how serious that is? Yes. Okay. So we move over to UNICEF. Doc, you are listening to the panelists. We're talking about the skills that are needed. We're talking about the challenges that are there. As UNICEF, what programs do you have in place which are contributing towards skill development? Maybe not necessarily for the students, but for the teachers, as well as towards infrastructure to make ICT a reality. Over to you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
No.
Are you able to lift your mic?
Okay, I think it's better now. Good afternoon, everyone. Let me start by congratulating all the girls who are here, who are, for me, are already in ICT. Your presence here already tells us that in the next 1 year, I want to be more ambitious than Doreen. That in the next 1 year, we're going to have a massive change in the landscape for technology in Zimbabwe, in Africa, and in the globe. From my side, and to complement what has been said all day, I just want to focus on what I call reimagining education. And deliberately, I chose that aspect because it gives me the broad opportunity to talk about energy, connectivity, devices, content, capacity, and participation of girls, but also boys in ICT. In Zimbabwe, for example, around connectivity, UNICEF is working with the Ministry of ICT, the Ministry of Energy, and also the Ministry of Education around solarization of schools. We understood clearly that there is no way we can promote digital learning in schools if we do not have energy. The solarization of school project has opened up a new opportunity and a new landscape in bringing green energy into connectivity and into securing the future. And I believe that this is an entry point to start the discussion. The second aspect is around STEM education and girls' education. And around that, I want to refer to 4 interrelated types of skills that I want the girls here to demand from their teachers, and I want the authorities here to support teachers to deliver. The first is around foundational skills for literacy and numeracy as our children start to grow in the early years and in the primary education. The second is what I call the transferable skills, or what some people call 21st century skills, which is going to make young people to be adaptive, to be assertive, to be able to negotiate their way through life. You know, you also have to negotiate through the digital platform, isn't it? So that those sets of transferable skills are core, minimum, that we need to have in school. The third is digital skills. Digital skills is not just playing with a phone, touching the keyboard of a computer. I overheard the Honorable Minister saying so many people have iPhones, but can you really maximize the opportunity in them? And then lastly is what I call technical skills, which is where you then combine all these first sets of skills towards clear area like Doreen was telling us. You want to be doctors, engineers, astronologists, scientists, and the rest. And this is where we'll end up. And that's what I want to start seeing as of today. The third area is around connectivity. And I want to really commend the partnership that UNICEF has with ITU around the GIGA partnership, which aims at connecting schools to the internet. In Zimbabwe, we've mapped majority of the schools. We know the capacity that is therein, and we're also very proud of the engagement we have with POTRAZ in connecting schools, a school at a time. It is work in progress, but I'm proud to say we are not lagging behind because we know what has to be done, and we're already progressing in that area. If we go beyond that, I would like to also then take us into some opportunities that we have for young people. We have the Generation Unlimited Youth Innovation Challenge, which is also an opportunity for young people to put to use the skills that they have developed in challenging the norms and in also bringing forth new ideas. As I end, so that you can take away a few key messages, I want to emphasize on a few points. The first is that we need a strong policy and investment around this. I'm happy to see both the Honorable Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, as well as the Deputy Minister for ICT in Zimbabwe. What you've started is legendary, but we can't stop there. We have to continually increase investment in that area. Secondly, I'm challenging all of us, maybe this is the time to start having a social protection program solely for girls in ICT. We need to be deliberate in allocating cash investment to encourage, to support, and motivate girls to go into ICT areas. We have social protection that supports nutrition, health. Can't we do the same for ICT to change the norm for our girls? Teacher training, teacher education, and support is also critical if we must advance on ICT for our girls, but also for our boys. I'm proud to say that as UNICEF, we stand ready and we continue to engage across the different levels of the government and our partnership here and abroad in this area. I will end on data and research deliberately because I felt that we do not have enough business case. I'm not talking about those, distribution studies of coverage. Yes, we know them. We know the internet penetration. Yes, we know them. We know that girls have less engagement online compared to boys. We do know that. But can we also take a step further to then develop a business case on why we need to invest in girls? What is the rate of return when we invest $1 today in ICT for girls? And in the next few years, what that will mean for the human capital development of countries such as Zimbabwe. And as UNICEF, we stand ready. And as UNICEF will continue to engage towards ensuring that all our girls, including boys, have maximum access to technology and that they excel in all they do around ICT. I thank you for your attention. Good afternoon.
A round of applause for that. And girls, did you hear what you said at the end about the boys? So what the boys can do, the girls can? Come on, girls. What the boys can do, the girls can? Better. What the boys can do, the girls can do? Well done. Thank you so much. As we end our panel discussion, we have POTRAZ. I know POTRAZ is doing a lot in terms of girls in ICT. What do you think are some of the policy challenges that could be hindering us from getting to gender parity in ICT?
Okay, thank you for having me. Happy Girls in ICT Day to all the girls in the house and that are watching worldwide. Okay, thank you for your question. And I will answer this question in a three-part manner. Firstly, from the global perspective, I'll firstly talk about the efforts that have been made in order to achieve at least where we are, because I want us to take cognizance of the fact that this is not an event, but an ongoing process of development of girl child into digital transformation, because we as the girl child have long been neglected. So first of all, I want to take cognition of the efforts that have been done. Then I'll wrap up with the possible challenges that are there. So basically, from a global perspective, there has been a gender and ICT playbook that has been introduced by the World Wide Web. This is an effort that has been made by various civil societies and political parties, different type of economic persons, all the major stakeholders that are involved in different gender and female groups that came together to come up with this playbook that sought to incorporate gender in all the ICT developments and provisions that were there. So this was the first step that was done at a global perspective. Then narrowing down the examples, we now come down to our primary and secondary institution. I recognize Doc spoke about STEM, and I also want to speak about it as a initiative that has been made to introduce the girl child into science projects. So we have STEM that encourages girls to study your science, your technology, your engineering, and your mathematics. So that is definitely a step in the right direction to introduce girl child to this environment called ICT. And then from a university perspective, we have the new rollout program of telecommunications module, which I was also privileged to participate in modeling and restructuring, such that girls, even at university level, participate in telecommunication. Even telecommunication that was not there in the law sector. I will speak about the law sector because that's my forte. So we have telecommunications module that are to be rolled out shortly in various universities, which mainly, and I'll emphasize mainly on encouraging girls to participate, because half the time in universities, you have 9/10 of the class who being men who participate in these things. So this initiative is coming in to encourage girls participate in, even at university level. So don't leave it at the primary and secondary level, but take it with you to the university level and embrace technology. From there, we have the general universal access. Universal access seeks to help the marginalized and also the girls, not forgetting the boys, but since this is a girls event, we mainly talk about the girls. The girls in ICT to be assisted such that they have access to these ICT technological models that are there, such that you have the typical Bluewayo students, you have the typical Madebeleland students who are less privileged. Universal suffrage is coming in to assist and be there to help and embrace the girls in the ICT nature and the ICT facilities that are there, such that they're not marginalized and left out. So basically, those are the improvements that have been there. But like I said before, it's an ongoing event. It's an ongoing program, sorry. It's an ongoing program, it's not an event. Efforts are being made, but we are not forgetting that it has been a while this has been happening. But we are definitely taking a step in the right direction to make this huge and massive improvement. And I'll conclude by saying, girls are a milestone and a foot that is meant to impact history. I thank you.
Thank you. And before we move on to a very special award session, I would like to please call upon all of our previous speakers for us to have a photo with the panelists before we move on. A round of applause for our speakers. And as our speakers come to the stage, I'm going to ask Sicelo to please translate for me, please. Get your mic. If everybody could please stand up. Like Sibo mentioned earlier, we've all been sitting down for too long Right. So one mic for you and one mic for me.
Okay.
So one of the important things to realize and remember is that if your mind and your body are not aligned, we can speak and deliberate and do many different things, but it's important for you to believe and acknowledge that you are worthy of these opportunities.
Okay, so thina sonke silapha fanele sibe kwazi ukuthi umzimba wethu, ingqondo yethu, konke kufanele kusebenze ngendlela efananayo. So kumele sikubelieve mankazana ukuthi thina ama-girls in ICT sifanele le opportunity and we can do it.
So I'm going to ask you all to please repeat after me. And after the photo opportunity, but please repeat after me. Please put your hands on your chest over here, covering your heart. And repeat after me. I am worthy. I deserve to be here. It is not a mistake that I am here today. Where I come from, who I am today, is not a hindrance to who I could become. I commit to be the best I can be in my community, in my nation, and in my continent, because I deserve to be here. I am a problem solver, and I am part of the solution to move Africa forward. A round of applause for you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. And now, as we come towards the end of today's program, well, this program in particular, we would like to call upon POTRAZ Head of Public Relations as well as International Relations, Sivo Muteiwa, as well as ITU Secretary General, Ms. Doreen Bogdan Martin, to present our awards to our winners. Thank you.
So sorry, before we continue, we also would like to hear from our friends from Digital Opportunity Trusts about the Girls in ICT Street team. If that is ready, if we could kindly flag them on the screen for our online community. Thank you.
Yes, hello. I think this is working and you can all hear me well. Well, thank you so much for having us today. Madam Secretary General, esteemed guests and dignitaries, thank you for joining today's celebrations. Good morning and afternoon to people all around the world today. I am speaking from...
Wait for a bit. We cannot hear your voice. We just want to change the settings quickly. Can you say
yes.
something?
Yeah. Yes, can you hear me?
Excellent. Yes. Thank you.
Great. Well, thank you again so much for your time. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone joining us virtually, but also in person. My name is Adil Skali. I am the Program Design and Implementation Manager at Digital Opportunity Trust, or DOT for short. And I am so excited to have you all here today to celebrate this great day, but also to celebrate the achievements of young women in the ICT sector and to learn more about how we can inspire and encourage girls to pursue careers in technology. Today's session is focused on DOT's Girl in ICT Street Team, which is a youth-led response to the gender digital divide that seeks to empower girls by ensuring they have the necessary skills, confidence, and supports to achieve their goals. The Girls in ICT Street Team, provided by Digital Opportunity Trust, supports the impact of youth-led grassroots initiatives in the Middle East and Africa that are creating opportunities for young women and girls in technology. This program includes a variety of different activities such as one-on-one virtual coaching, customized learning opportunities, training in gender equality, but also offers connections to peer groups, as well as seed funding in Ethiopia, Ghana, Jordan, Kenya, Lebanon, Malawi, Rwanda, Tanzania, Uganda, and Zambia. And today, we have three amazing speakers with us, each of whom have been part of DOT's Girl in ICT Street Team program and is making a positive impact in their community. So I'm not going to keep you for too long. Our first speaker is Stella Waithera, the founder of the African Tech Girl from Kenya. Stella has a background in software development and is dedicated to training digital programming skills to young individuals between the ages of 7 and 35. We have our second speaker, Kate Wedenya. Kate is the founder of Boa Dakie Foundation, a Ghana organization which envisions a better future for all and has achieved great heights throughout their work. Kate is a social entrepreneur who's working on improving literacy in Ghanaian children. And our third speaker, Joan Nabusoba, she is the co-founder of Pwani Technogals from Kenya. And Joan is a software engineer by profession and leads the professional development at Pwani Technogals, which trains and monitors young women and girls to venture in technology. So exciting session today. We'll hear from them directly, and it'll be a dialogue with our speakers focusing on how they are catalyzing new ICT users and creators in the digital world through their projects, initiatives, and businesses. We'll hear about their experience in DOT's Girl in ICT Street Team program, how the program has impacted them and their businesses, but also we'll hear some advice for young entrepreneurs interested in providing digital skills. So if we're ready, we'll ask our three speakers to turn their camera on so they can pop up when the time comes. And my first question will be for all three speakers, but we'll start with Stella. And then Stella, you can move, you can hand the baton to the next speaker. My first question is when you first joined DOT's Girl in ICT Street Team program, what stage was your initiative in? And what were you looking for? What did you need the most as an entrepreneur at that stage? And I'm being told that Stella has unfortunately dropped due to an internet connection issue. So we'll go to Joan. Joan, if you want to start us off.
Fantastic. I hope I'm audible enough. Okay, so when we joined the Street Team program, our initiative was just in the conception stage because, of course, we didn't have funds to do our impactful work. So maybe if I can give you a brief background is we often empower young girls from high school, especially those who are not able to have funds to go to the university to acquire digital skills and then build products with it so that they can sustain themselves, support their families, and grow their skills, of course, grow professionally. So we had a program called Code Hack. And after that program, the girls came to us and asked us that we would like to proceed with this program and be able to continue building something amazing with it. And we didn't have the capacity or we didn't have the know-how on how we can support them to do this because they're from marginalized communities. So we sat down and started brainstorming to do this program for free. It was challenging, but I had an opportunity to join the Street Team program. And here I was able to find amazing mentors, a team from Google, a team from DOT. Actually, DOT would be able to organize for us young women who are prominent in the industry to come in and support with advice. We were able to ask for funding. And what I can say is the initial DOT seed funding was able to support these women. And as we grew, I will be able to tell more as we proceed. But this led to us financing this program, as well as these young girls building mobile application solutions and hosting them on Play Store, as well as just being able to grow their businesses as young as below 20. They would be able to sustain themselves. I'll give case studies in the next day. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Joan. Unfortunately, we are short on time. There have been some delays. So I'll turn it over to Kate. Kate, similar question, but after that, unfortunately, we will have to cut this session short. I don't want to keep folks longer. So Kate, please go ahead.
All right, thank you very much, Adil. Hi, everyone. I'm Kate Odenya Menyiko, the founder for Boadachi Foundation, an initiative in Ghana that is focused on improving literacy among kids in Ghana. A core part of our work is helping children to access digital skills. And I got to know about Digital Opportunity Trust through a friend called Jennifer DeGraft-Nielsen, who is also an alumnus of the program, and she's kind of an accountability partner, and we talk a lot about our initiatives and things that will help our personal development as well. So during one of our conversations, she mentioned that she has had an opportunity to join the fellowship, that is the Digital Opportunity Trust Fellowship, and she's enjoying amazing opportunities, meeting mentors, networking, getting the opportunity to learn courses online that are paid for. And I was so excited about this. Fast forward, when applications were opened, I also applied. Unfortunately for me, I got selected. Prior to the selection, I had started my initiative for about 3 years, and I had 32 volunteers, and most of our work was about identifying issues in education and addressing them. We were really not incorporating things like SWOT analysis in our project implementation. Personally, I had less knowledge about planning a project. There were a lot of things that I didn't know. And to talk about the devices that we're even using to teach these girls, they were not available. So we're using our personal laptops since we are in university. And so most of my volunteers would bring their laptops and would use that to teach the girls. But joining the Digital Opportunity Trust Fellowship gave me an opportunity to first have a mentor to myself. Grace has been so helpful. That's the name of my mentor, and I'm still in touch with her. And I was fortunate to have a one-on-one, conversation with her about most of my project implementation, where we had a lot of thorough discussion about SWOT analysis, accounting for the budgets that you use in the project. I also had the opportunity to learn several online courses which were paid for. Like I said earlier, I had less knowledge about project implementation, but through the Digital Opportunity Trust, I have a certificate in project implementation. I know a lot about Gantt chart. I have a lot of knowledge about the social enterprise fraternity, which for me, I feel these are great opportunities that every social entrepreneur should have, especially for people who are in the digital space, because digital literacy is actually a lot more than just, knowing how to use IT tools. And as facilitators that we are training children about digital literacy, we need to really understand some of the things that we have to incorporate in our project. And so it's been a lot of learning and sharing for me.
Right. Awesome. Thank you so much, Kate. It's been truly a pleasure to have you today and to have you in the program. Thank you, Joan, as well. Unfortunately, we are short on time, but that is a great teaser for everybody watching to learn more about Digital Opportunity Trust. We encourage you to learn more about DOTS and our work in empowering young people, especially girls and women, with digital skills. So join us in our mission to bridge the gender digital divide and build a better future for all by visiting our websites, dotrust.org, dotrust.org, or on our social media at Digital Opportunity Trust on LinkedIn and YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Thank you all for being a part of this conversation. We look forward to connecting with you soon and hopefully having more time to share all these great stories. Please do connect with us. Have a wonderful lunch, and thank you so much for your time.
That's your round of applause. I would like to call back on stage POTRAZ Head of Marketing and International Relations, Sibo Mutewa, as well as the ITU Secretary General, Mrs. Doreen Bogdan Martin, as well as Minister of Innovation and Technology, Postal and Career Services, Honorable Dr. Jenfan Muswere, to present our awards. I would also like to call upon Honorable Dr. Evelyn Lovu, Minister of Primary and Secondary Education. A round of applause. And last but certainly not least, ITU BDT Director, Dr. Zavazava. A round of applause. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and good afternoon and good evening. Oh, what a day. Am I the only one who thinks this day was amazing? Bosisi likholisile yini? Hayi angilizwa, likholisile yini? Wow, that's beautiful. We just go straight to our prize giving ceremony. I would like to give you just a short background of why we are giving away these laptops. We invited the young women and girls. Lingapi, what is the young women and girls from Matabeleland North Province to submit essays and tell us the solutions that ICTs can bring to their communities to solve community problems. And so each student was to choose between that question or a question that speaks about, they can tell us about how they think ICTs can empower young women and girls themselves. So the winners have been adjudicated by our panel. Where are you, the panel? The panel is there. Other ones are at the back. They've got their marking system. I was going to call the person who represents them, but I think because of time, we don't have the time. So we have 10 winners out of all these girls, 10 winners who are going to get laptops. So it goes right straight to the prize giving. The first winner, ladies and gentlemen, this is not the top in any way. It's really in no particular order, but you did very well in terms of telling us exactly what you believe will solve problems in your communities through ICTs. Constantina Emily Ngwenya. Run, ungatonsi nyawo, kichima. Kichima sisi. Where, please go. Pianini, please come, ladies. Constantina wrote to us about how ICTs can assist women in empowering themselves. Yes, get a smile. Want to see teeth? Want to see teeth? There's a laptop. Thank you very much. The next person is, you can take a seat, Mama. Confidence Elvina. Confidence Elvina. Eliva. Confidence Eliva. Yay. She's so excited. Well done, well done. Well done, well done. She's getting herself a laptop. Oh, that is so beautiful. She's crying. Thank you. Thank you, Confidence. Our next winner is Pearls. Can you see where Kuchanini? Pearl. Kichima pela sisi. Kichima sisi. Siyabonga, well done. Form bani sisi? Form 4. How old are you? 16? She's 16. What did you write about? Come and tell us.
I wrote how can ICT can help young women and girls to improve their lives in Zimbabwe, rural Zimbabwe.
Well done. Go and get your laptop. Go and get a picture. Oh. Thank you. We've got Tanya Dinyati. Tanya Dinyati. Kichima Sisi, Kichima Sisi. Kichima Sisi, Kichima Sisi. Oh, that's nice. Well done, girl. Well done. Where are the teachers who are teaching English? Where are the teachers? Teachers, where are you? There's the proud teachers who are teaching these girls how to write. Stand for, you can remove your mask a little bit. Doesn't want anybody to bring a COVID. Okay. Well done. Okay. Owami Kisha Mabele. Owami Kisha. Kichima Bela Sisi, Kichima, Owami. The name Owami, Doreen, the name Owami means mine. This is my girl. That's what it means. Owami, Kichima Bela Sisi. What form are you? She's in Form 3, she's 15. She's 14, she's correcting me, she's 14. She's in Form 3. From Fountain College. Kangela Makamer. Your Fountain College, is that your school? Okay, thank you very much. Lindobo Shemoyo. Lindobo Shemoyo, Kichima Sisi. Lindobo Shemoyo. Lindobo Shemoyo, Kupomba Lindobo She. Form 3. Form 4. Okay. Oh, you're the one who was being interviewed. Okay, she was the one who asked the question earlier. Wow, well done. Well done. Hamba Pelio Tatoma picture. Lindobo Shemoyo. Which school? Mosiatunya High School. Nokutenda mugwagwa. Nokutenda mugwagwa. Kichima pela sisim nokutenda mugwagwa. Well done, girl. Well done. Nokutenda mugwagwa. What form are you in? Form 2. Form 2. You are what? 14, 13? 14. Well done. Okay. 14-year-old Nokutenda Mkwakwa, well done. Privilege Gray Moyo. Privilege Gray Moyo. Kichima Pela Sisi. Wow, well done, Privilege. What form are you? Form 4? How old, 16? Okay, well done. Well done, girl. Which school are you, Mosi? She's at Mosi. Where are the teachers? Where are you, teachers? Your teachers are super proud. Thank you very much. Tinomonga Ishenkomo. Tinomonga Ishenkomo. Tinomonga Ishenkomo. Hamba Kichima Sisi. Tinomonga Ishenkomo. Siabonga. Tinomonga ishe moyo, nkomo. Ukufomba nsisi? Form 4. Tinomonga ishe chokwadi. Thank you. You can remove your mask a little bit for pictures. Oh, she's crying, she's weeping. With joy, can we celebrate you on Tino? Well done, Tino. Well done, Tino. Okay, we are proud of you, okay? Super proud of you. Kimberly Mutisi. Kimberly Mutisi, where are you? Kimberly Mutisi. Kimberly Mutisi. What form are you, ma? Form 5, lower 6, 17? Yes, 17, 16. She's 16, 18. Okay, well done. She's got a national identification card. Well done, girl. You're going to go to university to study ICTs? Yes, she's going to university next year. Okay. Thank you very much. May I kindly ask all the ladies, sorry, Kimberly, if you can stand, can I quickly have the girls at 1 to quickly come to the front for a photo moment? Please come quickly with your laptops, quickly. Yes. Whilst the girls come, I'll hand over to, okay. Phangisanini bosis Kichiman. Abanye babuye ngapha. Ababuye ngapha.
Thank you very much, Sibo. Another round of applause for everybody involved. And also another round of applause for the teachers and parents for the support that they continue to give our students. We appreciate you, teachers. Thank you. And now, as we get ready for our closing remarks, which will be delivered by 2 individuals, to start us off, we're going to have UNECA representing Smart Africa, who are the ones who have brought us here today, not only to commemorate the milestones that Transform Africa Summit have achieved, but most importantly, they've brought together brilliant minds to foster collaboration and to foster more and more developments to move Africa forward. A round of applause for UNECA as he makes his way to the stage. Thank you.